Welcome you all to this section on fluid mechanics and machinery with code CE8394. So in this section we are continuing to discuss about this course outcome 1. Okay, so actually we had previous discussions regarding the units and dimensions, what are the properties of fluids, what's meant by mass density, everything we have discussed. Okay, so this we are going to continue now in this also. So we'll be seeing discussing about Pittard's tube, everything, applications, or how we are going to do it. Okay. So Bernoulli's theorem we started we had a glance in the previous session. So this is actually what is meant by Bernoulli's theorem. I'm saying this is the equation P by rho G, okay, plus V square by 2G plus Z is equal to C1. So this equation was developed in 1738 by Daniel Bernoulli. So P by rho into G, that's rho is actually density. It's we call it as flow work per unit mass. That head we call it as, okay, it's called as a pressure head also, flow work per unit mass. V square by 2G is kinetic energy per unit mass. So Z is actually potential energy per unit mass. So C1 is actually a constant. So where we are applying this Bernoulli's theorem, we do in office meter and also Venturi meter. So this Pittard tubes today, this is actually we have discussed everything. That's Venturi meter, office meter. So we are going into the Pittard tube. So it's actually also called as a Pittard probe. Okay, it's a pressure measurement device which is used to measure the fluid flow velocity. Is actually the Pittard tube was being invented by the French engineer Henri Pittard. It was invented in the early 18th century and was modified to its modern form in the mid 19th by French scientist Henri Dassy. What it actually, this is actually, I told you actually, this can measure the velocity of flow at any point in a pipe or channel. Okay, what is the working principle? So the basic Pittard tube will consist of a tube pointing directly into the fluid flow. So as this tube contains a fluid, a pressure can be measured. Okay, so the moving fluid is actually brought to rest, its stagnation position, as there is no outlet to allow flow to continue. So this pressure we called as the stagnation pressure. Okay, that if a velocity, that is what is it is, if the velocity of a flow at a point becomes 0, the pressure there is becomes increased, and due to the conversion of kinetic energy into pressure energy. Okay, so this Pittard tubes will be normally it will be bent at right angles. So this working principle is actually the stagnation pressure is equal to static pressure plus dynamic pressure. So we can also write it as P1 is equal to, so this Ps plus that we call it as U the whole square by 2G. So this is actually solving, we have to find it for the flow velocity. So U is equal to 2 into that's everything is within square root of 2 into P1 minus this velocity, this Ps. So that is stagnation pressure divided by rho or the density. This is actually what happens is what we do is actually in the Pittard tube, the lower end is being, which is bent 90 degrees, directed into the upstream only. Okay, so the liquid rises due to the conversion of kinetic energy into pressure energy. So that is what we do with that. So next one is your determination of airspeed using static and dynamic pressure. So actually the dynamic pressure is actually the difference between the stagnation pressure and static pressure. So the dynamic pressure is determined using a diaphragm inside a enclosed container. The static pressure is generally measured using the static ports on the side of the fuselage. Okay, that is we call it. The dynamic pressure measured can be used to determine the indicated airspeed. So dynamic pressure is very, very important. So that is also used to measure or determine the indicated airspeed. So you can please see this, as I told already, this Pittard tube static tube is actually bent at 90 degree. So instead of a separate Pittard and static ports, a Pittard static tube, that's called as Prandtl tube, can also be used. It will have a second tube coaxial with the Pittard tube. It will have, actually you can see the diagram. First one is simple Pittard tube, second is static source, and this is a Pittard static tube. So what happens, it has a second tube coaxial with the Pittard tube with holes on the sides. So outside the direct airflow to measure the static pressure. So the pitot tube applications, number one is aircraft. So pressure sensitive instruments that is most often used in aviation to determine an aircraft airspeed. It is used for determining the Mach number, altitude and also altitude trend. So this pitot static system is generally consists of a pitot tube, a static port and the pitot static instruments. So you can see this aircraft use pitot tubes to measure the airspeed, as you can see. The example is from an Airbus A380. So it combines, you can see that it's combining a pitot tube right with a static port and an angle of attack wind. So that is used for measuring the airspeed. This application of pitot tube. What errors we do have in a pitot static system? So there are certain errors. Every system will have its own limitations also, and few errors can be spotted. So one is this actually errors in pitot static system can be dangerously extremely as information obtained from the pitot static system such as airspeed is potentially safety critical. Okay, several commercial airline incidents and accidents have been traced to the failure of the pitot static system. So if the system fails, then there may be accidents. Okay, so that is very, very dangerous. Okay, if there is an error in the measurement. So we can see some what are the aircraft accidents that occur due to the failure of pitot static system. So this we can say French Air Safety Authority, they say that the pitot tube icing was a contributing factor for the crash of Air France flight 447 into Atlantic Ocean, and 2008 also we had the similar problem. So when the pitot static system is failing, what happens actually? Sometimes there will be some icing malfunctions, or during cleaning they may leave the static port can be blocked with the tips. If there is any icing or blockage, there may be accidents. So second applications in racing cars. So used to compare the speed of the airflow at various locations of the car to the real speed of the car. Okay, so it gives an accurate measurement of the true speed of the car related to the air without the measurement being affected by the car's own movement throughout the air. So that is used in the racing cars. The third industrial applications is the flow velocities being measured are often those flowing in ducts and tubing. This is the most practical instrument, and also this pitot tube can be inserted through a small hole in the duct with the pitot connected to a U-tube water gauge, or it can be even connected to some other differential pressure gauge for determining the flow velocity inside the ducted wind channel. Okay, that is one of the industrial applications of pitot tube. Okay, next one is actually how you can go on for this duct can be estimated. If there's a flowing volume flow rate, there will be a volume flow rate. Okay, so how you can determine the volume flow rate? The formula is duct area, we know the diameter, everything else, into the flow velocity, and also the volume flow rate will be equal to duct area into flow velocity, that is in cubic meter per second. Thanks for your listening. So we shall meet in the next section with new informations and concepts. Thank you all once again.